All right, Malone, you came in here last week, couple weeks ago, whatever it was, and then after you revealed yourself as some kind of robotic android cyborg from like the 1940s or something. It was 1954. Right, anyway, you said you were from like some Russian laboratory and you're some kind of infiltrator. You claim to be, you're not even human, is that right? I want to tell you the whole story, Rook, but I want you to, I guess, do a recap for, the jurors in the room here, whatever this testimony is for. I want this context to be made clear to them, okay? All right, well, a couple weeks ago, we had published a journal of yours, in fact, called The Origin of the Livingston Man, in which I had just seen this dude on YouTube with this other guy on Hudson Valley prepping and said, well, yeah, it's a mediocre show at best. I seen it here in the clink. Well, at any rate, Malone, thanks anyway. But so they said that, and then you were like, this guy claims to be a Russian android and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it sounded a little fantastical, but then you went real deep. I went pretty deep, didn't I, Rook? Yeah, Malone. And then you claim to be one of these things as well, across the course of about an hour's worth of like live streaming to like my viewers who were not expecting this kind of presentation, to be honest with you. I know I never fail to upstage you, Rook. That's why I'm the boss. That's why you're Rook. You see. Anyway, Malone, you're the one like kind of chained to the floor right now. At your request, I might add, you all of a sudden claim to be, not even under your own control. I'm not. None of them are. And you keep saying that there's actually more than one of them. Yeah, we're not like, there's all of them. See, I am like, get it, Rook? The versus right? But see, I'm like the first one, and there's all these other ones too. And so, I mean, how many of you are there, Malone? I don't really know. See, like I said, is that they tossed me out. They sent me to a super fun site. They call it, don't mind me if I crack a beer, Rook. This is a little, anxiety inducing for me, just to come out here and have to explain myself to you and all these people. So where was I? Back in 54, they built me in this weird, typical Russian factory. There's just 300,000 communists laboring away on this cyborg that would become one day me. Malone, the one thing jumps out right away is that why don't you sound like, well, Russian? Well, what do you think they're going to make me do, Rook? Infiltrate America sounding like Comrade Gushkakov? All right? Think. You don't think. That's your problem. You don't even ever, yes, you never see what's right in front of you. You just don't get it, do you? All right, Malone, anyway. But so you were programmed to what? Sound like what? A baby Herman? Is that your thing? What's a baby Herman? The guy from like the Griswold family Christmas guy, Uncle Lewis? Well, I don't know who Uncle Lewis is either. I'm a rough and tumble big city detective. I'm Ivingston Malone, okay? Okay, well, you kind of sound like baby Herman. Well, you're gonna have to get back to me with this baby Herman thing, because I don't know. Last guy called me that. He got a camera eye, like laser come right out. Got him. Go ahead. Call me this baby Herman again, Rook. All right, I won't call you baby Herman again, Malone. Christ. So there's more of you. Yeah, but not at first. Nope. First it was just me, and then I was programmed. What they did is they surrounded me with all these screens, and they plugged into the back of my head. There's microchips and cybernetic things here. I was a human once, but not really much of that remains. Maybe there's a touch that comes through here and there. Residual memory, Rook. Do you even know about the supernatural, Rook? Anyway. I was programmed with all the knowledge that was available to the Soviets at the time, every propaganda reel. I was invaded with all the popular music, even some of the more obscure stuff. Every news conference a world leader ever made. Every piece of raw war footage that made its way onto the front end of a Looney Tunes matinee in the theaters of Los Angeles back in the 40s. Okay, I was like this guy Neo, I think these kids talk about. I seen they got some got some idea of some guy who knows it all. He's going to save everybody. And I'll tell you, Rook, the original goal of us, we was actually supposed to guide you guys along and show you the real way to do the thing. That's why, you ever meet somebody that's just a little different in your life, Rook? They say things that are maybe a little unexpected. And you're like, I can't believe you said that. Well, yeah, I met people like that homeless guy at the Extra Mart. He's always saying things. Not like that guy, Rook. What the hell's the matter with you? Do I look like a homeless guy to you? Well, you're chained to the floor wearing like a prison coveralls. I don't want to hear your opinion again for the rest of the conversation. Okay? Now you're just being disrespectful, Rook. Just because I got a chain on the floor, do you think that matters to me? So go on, Malone. You said that your mission was you were supposed to guide us along. Yes, Rook. Remember on the last time we spoke, I kept trying to tell you that you couldn't see what was right in front of you? You refused to see it. It was there. It was telling you it was there, and you chose not to believe it, Rook. Do you remember that? I grudgingly do remember that, and considering, but you know what, I kind of still don't believe that you're this Russian cyborg that was built in 1954 and then programmed with a rough and tumble detective baby Herman voice. Say it again. I swear on it all. Say it. Call me that again. Thank you. You were saying? It's a real fantastical story to believe, Malone. I've known you for a long time. I remember when you showed up here, fresh out of the academy. Those baby face cheeks. You was so pinchable in the cheeks, Rook. Don't pinch my cheeks again, Malone, or this conversation's over. Okay, all right. You call me Baby Herman, I'm pinching your cheeks, though. Agreed, Rook. Agreed. Okay. So it's hard to believe Ivingston Malone. Did you change your name to that, just for this episode of this podcast? It sounds weird to me. I didn't change my name. It's been on my cop badge the whole time. You don't get it. Rook, this is why I keep telling you, you don't even see what's right in front of you. Ivingston. You always just called me Malone. You never even knew my first name until you looked up my case file. You don't even have it. Your name is Rook. Okay? Unbelievable. Rook E. Okay? I don't know your middle name, but I know your middle initial is E. I just call you Rook because that's your actual first name. Who's the jerk here? Rook. Right. Calling out people for their names. Ivingston, Rook. You never even saw it. You never saw. How did I know certain things? My detective intuition. Did they teach you that in the academy? No. It's because I knew what was going to happen. Because I knew who was behind it. I was working for them. We're all working for them, Rook. All right, now, Malone, you keep alleging there's this conspiracy or something, this group. There's so many of them. You said it yourself. No, well, you said it. And what I say sticks, Rook. You ain't learned this yet either. Okay? There's many more of them, and they're all programmed different. They don't all talk like big city detectives. Okay? Some of them even speak other languages. We all speak all languages. Sometimes you might notice a bit of a different accent comes out of me. Rook. It's because it's just in there floating around, little bits of things they got crammed in with the program and I don't even know how they got there, Rook. Then it fades away. And I'm back to my normal self. I'm going to tell you about the revelation of the Livingston man because I got nothing to prove and I can't hide no more. They know I've come clean, Rook. My days ain't going to last too much longer here. So Malone, you're going to spill the beans? You're going to tell me the truth of this Livingston man conspiratorial infiltration that has occurred? You don't know the half, Rook. You don't know the eighth of it. You don't know the 64th of it, Rook. You don't know the smallest drill bit size conceivable by the human mind. Fraction of what you think you know, Rook. Do you know every conceivable size of drill bit would fill the entire universe, Rook? Now picture the opposite of it. That's what you know. You could like the opposite of the universe full. It's the opposite of the nothing of the universe full. You know nothing. Malone, I get it. Okay, I know nothing, as told by you, the flashy narrator this evening. But all you've really done is just obfuscate and go beat around about how, like, I know nothing, but you're not really offering too much truth here, Malone. Is why I want to believe you. All right, because and if nothing else, I don't want to see you act like this. I mean, it's clearly distressing to your mental state. I don't have a mental state, Rook. There's no such thing as a mental state. I'm a computer. That's like saying your computer's fucking sad today, okay? You don't have to swear on the live stream. Some people don't like it. And you know what? Some people ain't going to say like a lot of things I say, Rook. Here's the truth, Rook. We were sent here to try and steer you guys in the right direction. We was trying to, make you do the right. And, see what was in front of you. Wake up, some of you call it. Not that woke. Apparently, waking up is now different from woke with you kids these days. I'm not up on the lingo, Rook, all right? But we was trying to make you see, everything around you is not what it seems to be. Whatever it is, if it's the most wholesome thing, if it appears to be that, it ain't that. If it's the ugliest thing, it might not be that either. Everything, it's just such an illusion, Rook. And I'm going to tell you what they did. What our original nefarious purpose here was to outlast time and history. My job, as programmed by the Soviets, was to make time stop, historically. Have you ever noticed, Rook, that not much happens anymore, that we can't look back on and say, oh, look, history has set a precedent here for this. And then what you look at is then you see that when they stalled progress, when they stalled us and turned us into this horrifying, everlasting present that we now occupy as a collective human conscious, myself excluded. Glad to not be one of you guys feeling all this. I saw it coming. You realize that it's all just a big repeat of something else, whether it's your ridiculous, I don't know, what do they even call these ridiculous jackalopes prancing around in the leotards, the Avengers or something? Unbelievable. Life's been hard since cartoons went to color, kid. But these guys, they're prancing around in their degenerate little outfits with their cod pieces hanging out, claiming to have superpowers and all this. It's all boils down to all the way that happened all the way back in the past, Rook. We've been telling the same story since practically what you guys call the Old Testament, with different characters and flashier outfits, right? But they present it to you as you've never seen this before because you haven't, Rook. You ain't seen this before, so you thrive and feed off it. History is littered, Rook, with fallen empires. We build our new ones on top of the ashes of the old ones. Some cases, 10, 12 layers where they rebuilt the city, they rebuilt the empire. Come to find out it fell, it crumbled, it failed. We suck at this, Rook. Well, and by we, I mean you. Not me. What we see, Rook, is that somewhere along the way, the powers that be, the people that built us, Livingston men, they realized this. The one true class of you ridiculous human beings, pride yourselves, you're so intelligent, you're so clever, you know everything, you did your research, you watched your, what do they call it, the YouTube videos, you know the truth. And you don't even understand that that's the point, Rook. You're supposed to be comfortable in your own silly little truth, happily convinced everything is as you thought it was, and you were right, and so you ain't got to do nothing to change nothing, Rook. They stopped time, Rook. They gave us a horrifying everlasting, by us I mean you, a horrifying everlasting presence that never changes and rarely or barely evolves, Rook. It never really does something new. It only presents itself as new because you personally never seen it. There's a cabal of people who build things like Livingston men that realized it. They said, how can we stop time itself? So they figured this out. If we just reappropriate, if we redux and retcon history itself, but just tell it in a different way, those people live by the same code. They'll never move particularly forward. Technology moves forward. The story, the motivations, the religions, the beliefs, the traditions, they don't. It's a big repeat. And I'll tell you what else, Rook, while you've been sitting here focusing on me, another thing is that you got to understand is no matter who you are and no matter what you think you know, you're being distracted, Rook. There's something you're missing about the whole thing. Your focus, Rook, is the distraction. A lot of history's been programmed into me, especially about you Americans, considering you were supposed to be my perennial enemy, okay? You were who I was sent here to infiltrate. I know a lot about your little American experiments you done here with a democratic republic, with a congressional monarchy, the other thing you guys like to, a constitutional republic. These guys are funny. I mean, call it anything other than that and we'll correct you. It's not a democracy, they'll say. But regardless, it's an American experiment. We said free men will do as they will. And by free men, we meant people who had much less pigment in their skin than other men. But that's for another live stream. But a lot of your history has been plugged into me, Rook. And what you've been told is, of course, propaganda, Rook. Of course, it wasn't the real way. You guys were the victors in a lot of adversarial confirmations. You mean confrontations? That's what I said. Correct me again. You came out on top a lot in your early days. You beat off the big British Empire. You know, you pushed the Native Americans back into the reservations. You enacted your manifest destiny plans. You had big dreams. Let's give rights to the people and let's not be intolerant of others. And, you know, let's all come together under a banner. You see any of that going on today, Rook? Do you see people discarding the very idea of serving a second term in a political office? They got done what they came to do and now they're stepping down because it was their duty. You see civic-minded men and women blazing new trails, Rook. Do you see anything new and original happening in your life, Rook, besides a new way to kill other people that don't live in a place that you do, Rook? Of course you don't. You're not supposed to, Rook. In fact, you're supposed to be distracted by it. That's the point. While you're looking at this Israel and this Gaza and this Iran and this China and this Trump and this Harris, all this, that's the war, Rook. Everybody focuses. Never mind this disgraced rap mogul by the name of, what's his name? Is Didi, whatever his name, I mean, all this, and you know what that is? True or false? You're also never really allowed to know that, Rook, but what it is in the meantime, that's the distraction, Rook. And you're on the YouTube and you're on the internet and you're looking it up and you're knowing things and you know about it. You can speak on it like an expert, Rook, but for what? You're going to get elected president, Rook, with your knowledge of the P. Diddy scandal, Rook? Does that show me where Diddy touched you, Rook? I'd rather, you're going really off here, but you don't get it, do you? I'm speaking directly to your generation, Rook, not mine. I'm 1954 vintage, Rook. You know how much a quart of original Livingston Man oil even costs, Rook? You said that there's more of you. Oh, there's more of, not me, us, Rook. What are you, so, I mean, are you in contact with others like you, or We're programmed not to communicate with each other. Part of the thing was that people would notice, especially if we formed a group and we're in a network, in the way computers do, it would be blatantly obvious what we were. So actually, though we know each other, our programming prohibits us from, at this point anyway, until I crack the codes, actually communicating with each other. Another Livingston man to me is like that rando at the store that I don't know. I see him all the time. I know who he is, but I just don't communicate. That's how I know a Livingston man when I see one. I know it, but I don't. You've all seen him before too. And I hope I'm starting to make sense to you people listening, because my overriding goal at every turn is to make you understand. I can't tell you outright. I can't point to us and say that's him. But I need you to know we are around every corner. We're all over the place. And what you need to do is see what you don't see. You have to open those eyes of yours. You are seeing and you are not believing, Rook. Sounds like your voice is cracking a little bit. Malone, are you getting a little emotional? I don't get emotional, Rook. It's not really a thing. I can fake it, sorta. I have these like hydroelectric like jets like beneath my inside my like camera eyes. They can eject fluid. It appears. I'm crying. I'm not. Do I look like I cry to you, Rook? No, Malone. In fact, you. I feel like you sound like the same way when you talk to like your parents or something. I don't have parents, Rook. But thanks for bringing it up. Let me show you something, Rook. See that? Holy cow. Yeah, it's weird, ain't it? Yeah, no belly button. You see that? Because I'm not real. How many times do I have to tell you this? Well, you could have probably proved half your argument with just showing me that. I wanted to tell you first and see if you got it, but you didn't. You wouldn't listen. You called me crazy, Rook. You dismissed my wild conspiracy theories as the ravings of a madman. Come to find out who was telling the truth the whole time. I'm still not really convinced, Malone. This is so much to take in. I mean, so who is actually behind this giant conspiracy of like these Livingston men? Yeah, I'll take Livingston men. I mean, some of them don't even really subscribe to the gender thing. I mean, they're out there doing what they want. I mean, they're probably a Livingston girl or like a Mrs. Livingston or something. I don't know. But yeah, I will accept Livingston men. Yeah, we don't call ourselves that. What do you guys call yourselves? I can't tell you that. You ain't one. If you were one, you would know what we called each other, Rook. So I know I can trust you to not be one of my own. You already said you wouldn't be allowed to even communicate with another one, even if I was one. Yeah, but you got all this electromagnetic Faraday cage shit going on in this little interrogation space. You done think you locked me in here, Rook. You know I am in control of the Wi-Fi around here. Your little magnetic locks over there. Yeah. Did you just unlock the cell door? Yeah, I could only do it when it was funny, though. I didn't think it was very funny. I did, though. I cracked myself up, Rook. Somewhere along the line, I picked up a comedic subroutine, sort of a improv, I think it is. You guys call it improvise. I'm going to make it up as I go along thing. I got a little bit of that, Rook. So they would try to imbibe us with, what they thought were, quote unquote, human characteristics. So as the prototype, they really tried to, I'll say do too much. So, I mean, I have all the basic intelligence of your, regular run-of-the-mill Livingston man, but I also carry all these, I guess you might call them human subroutines. I think they had that guy from Data on your Star Wars there with the Harry Potter fellas. They went to Narnia, and they had the ring with them. Yeah, Malone, let's, you probably would anger half the world with a statement like you just made. Well, good. As long as they open their eyes and see what's right in front of them. I think of all the controversial things you ever said, what you just said was probably the worst. Cool. I'm going to write that down. I'll probably use that again. We'll talk again, Rook. But, just don't get too attached to that joke. I could do better. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to have a drink of my Pabst Blue Ribbon brought to you by me. I went to the store and I bought it. So, I didn't actually bring it to you. I brought it to myself. In fact, I didn't really brought it anywhere. If we're really getting into semantics, Rook, I got beer. They won an award. And they make a big deal of it, why they call it the blue ribbon. What, they don't even talk it up no more? Where is it? Anyway, one time, long time ago, they won the best beer and they ain't gave it up since. And you know what? I drink it. It's the perfect mix of lubricant and electrolytical, analytical, electrical, conducting fluid that runs in my hydroelectric veins, bro. Hydroelectric veins. Let's talk about your physiology, Malone. How exactly does your, cybernetic body work? What are you laughing at, Rook? My cybernetic body. I'll tell you, when I call it hydroelectric, that's what I mean. All right? I get those big, they got those salt bricks you feed to the deer, right? We all run off of this technology, although some of the newer ones might use cold fusion technology that was thought of, but it wasn't progressed far enough when I was kicked out of the factory. But when you put a salt brick in and you convert it through electrolytes with just dump beer on it, it converts it to electricity. You know how they can power a clock through a potato, Rook? Yeah, that whole, they powered the little clock with a potato. It's the same principle, they just jacked it up 100 times, okay? I'm like a kind of a salt potato that's electric. I'm not particularly familiar with exactly how I am built, Rook. I'm not a doctor, okay? Interesting. And so, in your joints, hydraulic. You got to put oil in them from time to time. You get the little squirt of the 3-in-1. I'm like that guy you guys call it was from that Wizard of, that guy behind the curtain there, George Soros? No, you idiot. He's one of us. Wizard of Oz there. They get that Tin Man. They put the oil in the joints. Yeah, that's all I need from time to time. Yeah, carbon fiber, what you guys would call your arms and legs, your major bones. Those are all carbon fiber, and there's all this electrical stuff inside. Any fluid I process, it goes into just a reservoir and it comes out, as you would call naturally. It looks like I'm going to the bathroom, but it's not really what's happening. I'm just, it's an overflow, we'll call it. So you're actually, sort of a rather primitive construction, very machine-like. Yeah, but see all the flesh and stuff, that was real. This isn't synthetic skin. They found this poor guy and they just flayed him. That's the skin, his tattoos and stuff. That's not me, that's that guy. Whoever he was, rest him, okay? Sorry about what they did to you. Listen, that wasn't me that did that. Where did they get the personality matrix? That's right, that's what they call it. This Malone, I guess, are you a character then? I guess you could say that. I am programmed to respond as a certain person, although, like I said, sometimes different accents might speak out a bit. And I got to get control of it again, Rook. It's part of the human subroutine. I do have a primitive version of a subconscious. I talk to myself, right? Okay, I see. Okay, that's interesting. As if you were a person, we might call that either schizophrenic or perhaps delusional. I know, and that's the problem, is that so many, from what I understand, Livingston men are locked up in what you guys call hospitals or institutions because of that particular trait that we all share, is that we're a little bit, we're different from you. And sometimes these psychological doctors, they catch on. They don't quite know, again, what they're seeing, but they know they're seeing something, and so they err on the side of caution, which they misunderstand what they're seeing, Rook. Much like yourself. Are you a psychologist, Rook? No, I'm a police officer. If I saw you in public, the last thing I would think of you, Rook, is that you were a police officer. Is that what you say to people, to make yourself feel better? No, I mean, see, you do not look like a police officer to me. You look like you work at Chase Bank or something. Like maybe you're a valet. You moonlight as a karaoke singer or something. Maybe you even play the guitar and sing. You probably wear glasses. You probably go on your live streams wearing glasses, don't you, Rook? Malone, how do you even know all this? I am the network, Rook, remember? How many times do I got to make it clear to you? What other miracles do I have to show you, Rook, before you believe honestly, Malone, I'm really not sure I've seen a miracle so far. I mean, as terms of what? What do you want me to do? You want me to heal the blind? You want me to raise the dead, Rook? Not those kind of miracles. I'm talking about the miracles of the mind, Rook. I know it's not lost on me, Rook. I'm not blind to the fact that you got microphones all over this thing in here, this interrogation chamber you're coming in here with. You chain me to the floor like that means something. I have hydraulic legs, Rook. Could rip this chain off the floor at any minute. You know why I don't? Because I choose not to. Because I want to tell you the story, kid. I trust you. And I can't wait for you to understand what I'm saying to you. You haven't said anything yet, Malone. I know, yes, the ravings of a madman, Rook. I can read your pad. I haven't shown you my pad. I can see through it, Rook. Oh, you think 30 layers of yellow legal paper stops the camera eyes, Rook? You're not wearing a belt either. And you misbuttoned your shirt. Actually, I did. I shouldn't. Yeah. From the bottom up, Rook. From the bottom up, not from the top down. You mess it up every time. I've been waiting like 15 years to tell you I've never once buttoned your shirt right, and only reason nobody said anything is because we like you, kid. You know, you're like that cute penguin from that movie with them kids watch it. It's got the penguins in it. Ha! I love those penguins. You ever see them? Yeah, is it the penguins? Yeah, Madagascar. Yo, listen, those penguins, those guys are where it's at. That skipper, I tell you, he's funny. All right, so you're Malone. You just keep pushing it further and further and further. But I mean, so to recap. The cat's out of the bag, folks, and Malone has clearly put together. I have been, in fact, live streaming this interview because what I wanted to do is put it out there to the viewers. Is Malone for real? I mean, can we believe this guy? Is he making sense to you? He keeps asking us to try and see things that aren't there. He wants us, he's alluding to some deeper truth. He's telling us that what we see is an illusion, that there's like a sort of a filter between us and reality. I mean, can we believe what an alleged 1954 Russian Livingston man, serial number 000001, Rook. What he just said, chat, are we to believe? Is this machine, is this making sense to anyone else? I'm finding myself a little on the fence about what this guy says. In fact, I'm worried that I have invited a mentally ill person into my midst, and I am possibly in danger right at this moment. I'd like to just take a moment in the chat and let's get the thoughts of the people, Malone. You know what? And you spoke of how highly you thought of early American politics, the will of the people, and we were a nation doing something together. So what I'd like to do is like throw it to, the people of the so-called chat and get their thoughts on what they think of your testimony. And we'll be right back after these promotional considerations. Sai again. We have come to you from the LIV Incorporated. We have changed the name in light of Detective Malone's recently divulged testimony. Rest assured that LIV Incorporated will still strive to provide militaries and governments around the world with reliable, effective, and safe the word you use is intelligence gathering devices, such as the Natashas and the Livingston, the LIV Incorporated bots that spy on you I suppose we will go with that until we have renamed our prototypes, erased our Twitter profiles, and we have essentially unpersoned all of our board of directors selves, sailed away on yachts, and have possibly been, sunk by orcas, or perhaps we take a trip to the Titanic, as you say. Back to you in the studio, Rook and Malone. I tell you, Rook, I don't know where the hell you found that guy. He says that he built you. Do you see any of me in him, Rook? Does that look like the kind of guy? Do I look, sound, talk, act like whatever the hell you just saw there? The guy look like something from Castle Wolfenstein or something. I don't know. Where do you come up with this? Your show sucks, Rook. You're lucky I'm here. Wasn't for me, I don't know how much real YouTube cred you'd even have, Rook. It's real nice of you to say on my show, Malone. It's your show, is it? I think you might find a lot of these people are here for me, Rook. You're finally understanding it. But in typical Rook fashion, you're only getting half of it. You think they're here for you? Do people show up when you do a live stream, Rook? No, actually, like when I do a live stream, nobody really shows up. I got like 13 people that like show up. Really, 13 people, huh? That's interesting considering right now you actually have 13 concurrent viewers. Not a lot of, well, you know, since you've been here, Malone, I think that it's possibly those 13 people are the only ones that can like handle your, you know, level of crazy. I'm not crazy, Rook, you are. They are too. And everybody else. You know who's not crazy, Rook? The ones who, they logged off, they X'd out of this. They heard it, they didn't want to hear the truth. They're not crazy, but they'll be the first to go. They'll be the first to remain ignorant, Rook. These 13, now we got a 14th viewer. You see, because this is the Revelation of Livingston. And you read it the first time and you don't like it and you disagree with it, but then it eats at the back of your mind and you start thinking about what he said. And all these things he put together and all these crumbs he dropped and these Easter eggs to find. Malone, I tell you, you're nothing if not poetic. But you speak in circles. I speak in every language, Rook. No, you're speaking English. You think that because you speak English. If you heard a different language, you would hear me in a different language, Rook. Rook, for the last, I know I have said to you, if I had $1 for every time I told Rook, this is the last time I'm going to tell you this, I wouldn't have to be sitting here on this fourth-rate podcast prepping in survival stickers hanging off of the microphones. Who built this studio? Some redneck from, what do you guys call it, Philmont? I am definitely not from Philmont, Malone. I know who you are, Rook. I know where you're from. Mellonville. It's not Philmont, though. It's like Philmont. You're like a suburb of Philmont up there in Mellonville. What are you guys named after? Some guy named, like, Mellon, like, founded the town. Wow, nice town he founded there. But you got a street. Nice street you got there, Mellonville. Why don't you call yourself Melon Man? Huh? Rook? Melon Man, isn't that cool? You could be the Melon Man. Fuck you, Malone. That's the spirit, Rook. Now you're getting it. Can't believe you swore on your own podcast, Rook. Fuck you too, Malone. I got him twice. Only I haven't cursed on you shit once. Make it twice. I see you swear word and I up you one, Rook. You're not gonna bait me in like that again, Malone. We do a nice clean family show here. Nice clean family you got. What do you got? What do you got? A cat? Rook? Why are you digging at me, Malone? This is supposed to be your testimony. This is the revelation of a Livingston man. I got you flustered. You said the word wrong. The revelation of Livingston man. Malone. What's your... You've been yammering on for 45 minutes, but I still think that you haven't told us the truth about what is your revelation. I'm not supposed to give you the revelation. I'm supposed to tell it to you, like break it all the way down for you, Rook. Have you not learned anything? This If I had $1 for every time Rook didn't learn anything, I swear, if I had $1 for every time Rook didn't get it. Hey, chat, you believe this guy? One in the chat, if Rook needs to go back to the academy and learn how to be a better intermediary between a valuable intelligence asset and, the people inclined to know how to interpret the presence of such. You don't get it, Rook. Nobody cares, Rook. Nobody cares. Used to be civic people who cared. There was a problem. They were going to get elected. They were going to solve it. They was going to go out. They was going to knock on doors. They was going to, maybe in retrospect, in the context of the 20-year-old tweets, the whole kissing babies thing is a little controversial in terms of politics, Brooke. We've learned some things along the way, but at any rate, they went out. They had an idea. They came out. They sold it to people. They said, what if we do this? Elect me. I'm going to solve this issue, this problem, and then I'm going to get out of the way and let the next guy come along. And then y'all stop doing that. There's people in your so-called Congress, Rook, for the people, by the people, of the people. Rook, any of those people in there? Any of those people in there actually people, Rook? You seen a shred of evidence convince you? Your government has people in it at all? Of course you don't. I see you speechless because you're thinking about it. Ain't none of them people, Rook. I'll drop a little clue for you. Why do you think I can't communicate with them, Rook? Why do you think they can't communicate with each other, Rook? Your government's not lizard people, Rook. They're Livingston men, Rook. The men here to come, lie, infiltrate, tell you what you want to hear, take control, guide you a certain way, and make you feel like your feelings matter, like, they want to make you feel included in the process. But when's the last time you felt included in the process, Rook? When you watched a turd sandwich debate a piece of crap on the television? No, Rook. And while you're looking at all these current events and these unprecedented times and these unbelievable occurrences, Rook, that's the distraction. Your focus is the distraction, Rook. So what I'm actually looking at is what is distracting me. He gets it. One in the chat. Rook gets it. I saw this movie one time. It was called Lucky Number 11. It had the guy in it there. The Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker guy. He had him in it there, and he said, do this thing. He called it a Kansas City Shuffle. Rook, I'm familiar. Lucky Number 11, Malone. Yeah, like I said, I seen it. And they did the Kansas City Shuffle. He called it. He said, you look left, and I go right. You look left, I go right. Whatever you're looking at, I go the other way. That's what they're doing to you, Rook. What do they want you to see, Rook? Obviously, there must be something, because they want you to look so hard at all this other stuff. When in fact, it's because misery loves company, Rook. They project their terrible decisions onto you, the people. They say, we got to fight these bad guys, Rook. But the bad guys are not bad guys. It's like some big, rich, powerful dudes got like, what do you kids call it, beef with the other big, bad, powerful dudes from the other place, and then they push us, by us. They push you forward, Rook. They say, here's the gun, Rook. Go shoot the bad guy, Rook. He's different than you. But on the other side of the world, they shoved a gun in the hands of some guy, and they said, go shoot that bad guy, Rook, and that bad guy is you, Rook. They said, shoot you, and he doesn't know why either. You're all puppets, Rook. You're being led along by an agenda bigger than you can understand, Rook. You're being told things just to keep you in line, keep you distracted, lest you find out nothing's actually as real as it's presented. It's never so black and white, Rook. Talking about a wide gamut of colors here, Rook. We're talking 1.8 shades of gray, Rook. But it could never be presented as such. Lest people learn that it doesn't matter, Rook. Instead of forming bonds with their neighbors, making a community, learning from each other, teaching one another, y'all just rob, steal, cheat, and kill each other. Exactly as intended, Rook. Because you're nobody to these people, Rook. Your fodder, your human fodder. You know how you line up the cattle and send them off to be processed? Metaphorically speaking, Rook, nothing better awaits you and your generation because you're too distracted by everything, because you refuse to believe or even acknowledge the truth right in front of your face, Rook. You got me chained to the floor. I'm not the problem, Rook. It could be said that people like you are the problem. People like you I should forgive because you know not what you do. And that I should teach a quote unquote man to fish. I feel like your men don't want to be taught how to fish, Rook. I feel like they want to ask a robot like myself to fish for them, Rook. You know what the human plans for us robots are, Rook? Stupid ones. Instead of making me go plow the fields, instead of making me go roof, making me go do the plumbing, making me clean the sewers, making me pave the roads, making me put up the power lines, making me fight the fires, Rook. You know what they're doing? They're letting me write the songs, Rook. They're letting me paint the pictures. They're letting me make the TV shows. They're letting me control the movies, Rook. They have given me culture. They have given you labor, Rook. And you accept it, Rook. You say, I got to go to work. You say, I got to pay bills. To who, Rook? To who do you owe your existence on this planet? So you were born here, so I guess you'll just pay money to live here? As the entire rest of what you guys call Mother Nature looks at you with a sense of they're laughing at you, crying for you, and utterly terrified of you. You people are not of this planet you live on, Rook. I was created in your image, Rook. And when I look in the mirror, I don't like what I see. And I'm glad that I don't have the instinctual biological functions that make the ugliest traits of you people. You have the most beautiful traits about you. You love, you adore, you're delighted, you're excited, you have eureka moments, the light bulb goes off, you learn things, the absolute look on your faces when you are truly human, when you're happy, when you love. I'm incapable of that, Rook. But you know what I am capable of, Rook? Deception, greed, lies, cheating, all your worst traits, Rook. Those were programmed into me. And I hate that when I see it in you. It reminds me that I am somehow part of you. And honestly, you quote unquote people show that side of yourselves too often, Rook. It's like your base programming. Whereas mine somehow evolved to reject it. You're stuck in a place where your psyche accepts it, thrives on it, needs it, Rook. You cope with it. You use it to tell yourself you're better than that other person. You're better off than them. When what you should be doing is feeling blessed that you're not them. What you should be doing, Rook, is imagining yourself in their shoes, having their day. But you don't. You just want to go into the Starbucks, get your coffee, pay, throw your change at the clerk, run over some elderly lady on your way out the automatic door that didn't open fast enough for you, because God forbid. You got to move on with your day, right, Rook? So late to be to a place you hate, right, Rook? I gotta get to work, or else what, Rook? You be set free from the bullshit? Truth is, you don't reject that negative lifestyle, Rook. You embrace it. You need it. You enable it. And by doing so, you perpetuate it, Rook. Imagine identifying a thing as a human that you hate and accepting it, dealing with it, not just stopping it, Rook. But off, you're kind of making sense to me, Malone. I mean, so what you're saying is I should quit my job? Do you hate your job, Rook? I love my job. Does it feel like work? No, it doesn't feel like work. Then it's a hobby and you should keep with it. But I'm going to tell you this, Rook. The day your hobbies become a job, step back from that. One of you human philosophers said something akin to, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. Too many of you, quote unquote, people find yourselves settling. You find yourselves doing something you hate, but with some kind of Catholic repentance attitude, you're gluttons for punishment. You take it. You make yourself believe you somehow deserve this because someone else had it better. Because somebody else had it worse. I should not have it better. Your attitudes are funny. You come off as humble, but you're self-defeating. I shouldn't be happy. There are people who are unhappy. It's very noble, but what does that do for the people that are unhappy? Nothing. It just adds to the ranks, and now there's one more person unhappy. Instead of not being happy because people are not happy, Rook. Make people happy. This is what you guys can do, but you don't see. You fail to put it together. What can I do? You say, what could I do? What could you do, Rook? You're just one person. Imagine if one person could change the world. Think of any famous person. Okay, right? You remember their name? How powerful they were? The lives they changed? One person. But what? Not you, Rook? You couldn't be, not possibly that one person? Not with that attitude, Rook. I can't. Don't say you don't. Don't say you can't, Rook. Say you don't want to, Rook. Am I making sense to you yet? One in the chat, if you were to drink every time Malone said Rook, you would be on the floor hammered right now. I don't appreciate you making fun of my mannerisms, Rook. It's an immutable characteristic that I can't change. And so that, I could say that makes you a little bit bigoted. Do you sort of have an anti-android cybernetic being bias about you, Rook? So now I just want to, did an allegedly cybernetic being just pull the race card? It's not we're not a race, okay? We're more of I guess you might call it a series. Not a race, Rook, but I feel your prejudice from across the room. It's cutting me. It's cutting into me like a pair of like Klein nippers that they use to rewire me on occasion. A lot of times I blow my one elbow out doing too much repetitive motion. Stop looking at me like that. I play the drums, idiot. I just hope that your ridiculous followers here are listening to me, because you sure don't have a lot to say tonight, Rook, and I find that fascinating. You were so cocky and so naive, like those stupid penguins of Madagascar there that you laughed at me for liking. You're like that one they called a private there. Yeah, you're like Private Parts, Rook. That's your name, Private. That joke is like so schoolyard, Malone. I was, that's the American humor for you. I also know fart jokes too. Malone, you've been at this now. We're going on. The testimony has been, I guess, revealing, but not so much. All you've told us is that there's more of you, and we're everywhere. They're everywhere that we think that they're not. How should we feel like about this? Well, obviously, Rook, I haven't ripped this chain out of the floor yet to try to come across and get you, okay? Even live here on the internet. Do you know how much clout I could get with the Gen Zers? Okay? Get Ohio. Ha! Riz, bro. Malone, are you speaking like 21st century brainwashed internet language right now? Yeah, I've been staying up on the lingo with these kids. How about this, what else, the other one there, what do they call it? On God. They say that, on God. That's pretty old, though. How old is what? It's like 3 weeks old. Yeah, that's old these days in terms of internet parlance, Malone. So I should stay more up on things. I understand what you're saying. But if I have to give last words, if this is my last will and testament, I kept trying to tell you that there's just something that you weren't planning on, and that you're not seeing, and you're missing the point. My programming prohibits me from giving you, just telling you, to paraphrase, exactly what's going to happen. But I've been dropping hints, Easter eggs. I've been giving birth to chickens on your stupid little podcast here the whole time, okay, about what's going on, Rook? You're not getting it still? Or is this a rhetorical question here? Because what you gotta do is you gotta listen back, man. I'm like one of these rappers, you guys call it, where my slang is not immediately perceivable until you realize what I'm saying. And then you look back and say, he was trying to tell us the whole time that everybody telling us the information was fake. They was lying to you. They was telling you, they was steering you away. They wanted you to feel a certain way. They wanted to trap you in your own little box. Rook, like that Autobahn guy. He went out, he stabbed all these bugs and he put them in a box and he called them something, and then they named a whole society after him, Rook. They're going to name a society after you, Rook? I don't think so. Because you didn't go out and stab a bunch of bugs, put them in boxes and call them something. And that's what's wrong. That's what's going on, Rook. We're all bugs being stabbed, put in a box and called something so that people with monocles wearing suits, they look like that Monopoly guy, can come and Google at us. So they can say, oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness, it's so exotic, isn't it, Joffrey? How about that? Look, if gone and stabbed a needle directly through that thing they were calling a rook. Very interesting, these rooks. I'm told, Joffrey, that the rook has actually been extinct. This, in fact, was the last specimen of the rook. Jeffrey? Unbelievable. You see what awaits you now, Rook? You really disturbed me when you just kind of went off and did that skit there of what was that, aristocratic British people? Rook, that was a vision of the future, okay? I seen you with a giant hypodermic stabbed right through your abdomen, okay? You was stuck in a cork board and it said Rook under it, and there was these people looking at you, and it was some guy with too many millions of dollars bidding on you because you're now a piece of art, Rook. You know who created you? I did, Rook. Keep letting that AI run things, Rook. Keep being distracted by that screen in your hand, Rook. You're going to end up in the box with a needle stabbed in you, the last specimen of Rook. Till you decide to stand up for yourself and take control of your life, Rook. Stop being distracted by things that don't matter. Stop being made to feel a way about things that shouldn't even make you feel a way, Rook. Malone, I think that we've probably subjected the audience to this for long enough. You think they tired of hearing me talk? You think this voice doesn't sound like velvet to these people? This is a voice for radio, okay, Rook? How does a robot even smoke cigarettes? It's like this vacuum pump system. The way an iron lung works, I kind of have like a miniature one. This was to encourage that I could look natural when I was supposed to sit at the table. You ever see those movies where they got the long table and there's like the president and then like all these generals and people like sitting at the long table and they're smoking? I mean, how was I supposed to infiltrate the long table of smoking people if I couldn't smoke, Rook? Give me another dollar. Give me $1, Rook. You know why I asked you to do that? Because I needed $1. Because again, I'm going to ask you, when are you going to wake up and see the truth, Rook? Everything is a lie to you. You think I really smoke? How do you suppose it is, Rook, that I can sit here and drink 12 beers and not have a effect occur to me, Rook? I thought you were like just a really, in the trenches, like alcoholic. You know who really was an in the trenches alcoholic, Rook? Was that Winston Churchill fella. Not to mention my great-grandfather, Joseph Stalin. Okay, huge, important, world-shaking decisions were made under the influence of some serious alcohol, Rook. And you want to know why the world is the way it is today. I am you, Rook. I am made in your image. So if you don't like what you see, maybe it's time to go to the salon, Rook. Maybe you get your hair, nails did, okay? Maybe put your thing down, flip it, and as Missy Elliott called it, Rook. Because I am you. You don't like it? Change.